Hi, beautiful. If you do not have a family that loves you, I'm going to be your family.
POV. It's 2023 and transgenderism is everywhere. It's in your classrooms, it's in your White House, it's in your movies, it's in your TV shows, and it's on your social media feeds. But if you dare expose the weird and creepy sexual parts of it, your life could be threatened. Let's talk about Jeffrey Marsh and this connection between transgenders and sexual violence that for some reason nobody's talking about. Shout out to this channel for having the best full coverage of the situation. So we're just gonna watch Amala on her show, Unapologetic.
Every single time we post a new video for you guys. Now, without further ado, let's talk about Jeffrey Marsh. Now, this is a man who we've covered on the show many times before because of his grooming content. And yes, I am calling it grooming content because that's exactly what he's doing.
So I actually wanted to pause real quick because she just used the word grooming. And I want anybody who's watching this video to understand exactly what she's talking about when she says that, because it's a big claim and it has a legal definition. So let's look at that. This is the American Bar Association's website. And it says here, in many child sexual abuse cases, the abuse is preceded by sexual grooming. Sexual grooming is a preparatory process in which a perpetrator gradually gains a person's or organization's trust with the intent to be sexually abusive. The victim is usually a child, teen, or vulnerable adult. Now, we're gonna go down here where it gives us the key elements of sexual grooming. Aspects of sexual grooming may include targeting the victim, securing access to and isolating the victim, gaining the victim's trust, and controlling and concealing the relationship. Those are very interesting in light of what she's going to continue to talk about.
On TikTok in particular. And if you take just a moment to look at his page, he has over 600,000 followers, nearly 700,000 followers, and much of his content is aimed at children.
I want to talk to the kid.
And he's talking to children about non-binary rights, trans rights, they, them pronouns, accepting yourself in a different gender, how to transition, what do you do if your parents don't want you to transition. Jeffrey Marsh even goes as far as to say, if your family does not love what you're doing, does not accept what you're doing, I will be your family.
Hi, beautiful. If you do not have a family that loves you, I'm going to be your family.
And here's just a few examples of the content that Jeffrey Marsh is putting out. Let's take a look.
Biological sex is fake. Yes, we all know that gender roles are fake, but do not say to a trans person, biologically male, born female, male-bodied. No, 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 no. There is no biological criteria for gender that is both universal and a binary in human beings. Where does that leave us? Free.
Free. He's so creepy. And also, I wanted to point out this aspect of the family thing. There's actually a term for this. I didn't know this, but Abigail Schreier talks about this in her book, Irreversible Damage. If you want to know more about this subject, oh my gosh, can't recommend that book enough. Irreversible Damage. And it's actually called a glitter family.
Free. That's so funny because I was thinking jail. It's unbelievable. And of course, that's a very typical video, at least as far as gender activists are concerned. It's not particularly aimed at children. He's not calling it kids directly to start believing in this. But let's talk about where he does exactly that. He has several videos on the platform where he is speaking directly to children. He even tells parents, put the phone in front of your child so that I can talk to them. Now, Jeffrey Marsh is now going back and trying to delete those videos and erase his footprint of what he's been saying on TikTok, but luckily we've got some receipts, so let's take a look at that.
Your parents made mistakes. You can't blame the parents. Of course they can. I'm just concerned about the children. Should I go no contact with my mom? I will tell you about going no contact. Don't worry about hurting a parent's feelings. If you've had toxic parents will always make it about them. Your parents rushed you. Your parents screwed up. Families like to keep the roles the same. Here's your way out. If you do not have a family that loves you, I'm going to be your family.
Did y'all hear that? If you don't have a family that loves you, and by loves you, he means that is not going to accept you transitioning or wanting to be on life-altering and irreversible medications. That's what he means by a family that does not love you. So he's clearly trying to indoctrinate and groom children. I don't think that is within question. There's no question there. If you take one look at this man's content, you can see exactly what he's doing. And it's because it's a choice he's made for his own life. So who better to talk to than very malleable children who are ready to accept ideas like this? That's what he's doing. And he's doing it on a platform called TikTok, which we all know is a very genius choice to pick because there's kids all over that platform who are ready to take in new ideas and hear from these speakers. And that's why he has over 600,000.
So what you just said there is absolutely so important. The app itself, it's so hard for a parent to even be able to monitor. I mean, think about it. In a 30-minute session, think about how many videos you would have to go back and watch yourself, which who has the time for that, to make sure that they're not being exposed to this type of content. And the funny thing is, even if it's something like this, that maybe they think, whoa, that's kind of weird. Let me watch that one more time. What did he just say? The algorithm will pick that up as interest. And so it will recommend more of those videos, more and more and more depravity, more into this ideology. And you as a parent, you don't even realize what's going on because how could you? Unless you're literally watching TikTok over their shoulder, you might not realize that in 10, 20, 30 seconds, this man just put the concept of a glitter family in their head. They just told them lies about gender and biology. They now know the term no contact with your parents, like things that they didn't even know before. So it's super dangerous. But yeah, anyway, let's continue.
1,000 followers on the platform. Now, a woman decided to call this out on a TikTok of her own. And let's take a look at that video. And then we're going to look at the result of her calling out Jeffrey Marsh and what happened in the wake of her posting this video.
Okay, guys, this video is going to be a bit long.
Stop telling trans people that we're inspirational.
Like, what the hell is that? What is that? Why are you talking like a demon? It's so weird. Sorry.
Stop telling kids to go on your Patreon and chat to you privately without their parents knowing.
And then a lot of people made stitches of me saying I'm transphobic, I've done a lot of bad stuff. They've even attacked my scarf, my religion, a lot of bad stuff, which I don't want to go into. And these people have also said they are not talking to the kids. Okay, so I did a little bit of digging.
Hi, kids. Hey, kids. I want to talk to the kids. Hi, kids. Hey, kids.
So yeah, there's a lot of videos of them addressing kids. Now, the main video I want to talk about.
Your parents screwed up.
So pause there. She's even using the pronouns that this guy has chosen for himself and saying, respectfully, I just want to give you the receipts. I just want to show you that this man is gearing towards talking to children. He's trying to have private conversations with children on his Patreon. He is setting up videos specifically for children to watch without their parents knowing, and really guiding them toward the direction of abandoning their, quote, toxic parents. So she puts out this video just simply saying, here are the receipts, here's what's happening, and now here's an update from this woman on TikTok. And as you'll notice in looking at this thumbnail, she's crying. Let's see why.
So I just got an email saying pretty much a threat saying they know where I live. And what scares me the most is they have got my daughter's details on the email, like what time I leave, to drop them to school, pick them up. And it's not a coincidence because both of my daughters, they go to 2 different schools. So they know. They've given the school details and everything. So, yeah, my daughters are involved now in this. As some of you might know that my car was damaged in this whole thing. I was getting not very nice videos and now emails with a lot of details on that email. So I'm done. I don't want to do anything. I'm not going to talk about Jeffrey Marsh. I've deleted everything, removed it. If you guys want to go ahead, but please don't come to my house. You just get on with your life, I'll get on with mine. You guys want me to say I'm sorry? Fine, I'm sorry. Please don't come at me, don't come to my house, don't do anything with me. Because I'm just one person, and specifically 4 or 5 of you have kind of done stuff. Like some of you have found old pictures of me and uploaded it on TikTok without my hijab. So you guys have done that. I know you guys are gonna take the mickey out of this video. So, but my main thing is please don't.
How strange is it? How similar are the parallels between the people who are threatening this woman for exposing Jeffrey Marsh and the mafia and communist regimes, that when you speak out against them, it is violence and harassment that they turn to. Scare tactics. They want to use fear as a weapon. So for a second there, I did hesitate. Like, should I actually cover this video? Am I inviting the same treatment into my life? I don't know. I have a baby channel. I get that. So probably not, but it's the principle behind it. I feel like as the body of Christ, if you consider yourself part of the body of Christ, even if you don't, but especially those of us who are following Jesus, we are not called to submit to fear. We are called to submit to the Almighty. And I had to keep praying about this, like, should I do this? Should I do this? And I kept getting this feeling to just like remember Psalm 91. So I pulled it up so that you guys can see it with me. Psalm 91, whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 8,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. All right, so here's where it's gonna get spicy and dicey. I happen to come from a belief that transgenderism is rotten to its core. It's perverse to its core. And this website features all the reasons why I think that. No, actually just part of the reason, because there's so much more to it than this. But I am standing in solidarity with the Muslim woman here and exposing the creepiness and the pedophiles. I'm not saying Jeffrey Marsh is one of those people, but you're gonna have to convince me otherwise that what he is doing is not grooming. But here we go. This website is called Redux. It's a feminist website. And I'm not going to even go into any of the stories. I'm only going to read the headlines so that you can decide for yourself what you really think of the transgender movement, or the link between the transgender movement and creepy child sex predators and rapists. Okay, here we go. First story. Transgender daycare worker charged with sexually abusing baby. Transgender rapist assaulted second victim weeks after released from prison for raping teenage girl. Maine mothers investigated by Child and Family Services after questioning social worker who secretly transitioned children. So it says here, think about that for a second, that these mothers, there's two mothers who complained about a social worker in their kids' school, and then they were investigated by the government, by Children and Family Services, for complaining about a social worker who secretly transitioned their child. That's insane. See, there's the mafia tactics again. If you even question them, they will come after you. That's insane. And that's in the United States. So it's global, but it's definitely here if you're an American. Okay, we read that one. U.S. non-binary pedophile charged with targeting nonverbal autistic child for sexual abuse. Gay hairstylist turned trans woman pleads guilty to possession of child sexual abuse material. Furry indicted on human trafficking charges allegedly forced a woman to produce pornography. This is in France. Criminal misgendering complaint filed against women's rights campaigner. Yeah, criminal misgendering complaint. Over there, you can't even call them a biological man because that is misgendering them. And they will use the full force of the law against you. Journalist reportedly assaulted by Sophie LaBelle following trans book event. So another trans activist assaulting a journalist for pointing out the truth. And then we have bearded male pedophile sent to women's prison in Washington. And this is just from March this year. And there's so much more. It goes on and on and on. All this is like just 2023. It's horrible. It's horrible. You cannot even question these crazy perverts because they will come after you with the law and with violence. I will keep talking about this. I will keep exposing this because it is our responsibility as followers of Christ, as parents, as American citizens, to use our freedom of speech to call these perverts out, and to call out without fear the dark parts and the truth of transgenderism as a whole. Because if they're going to force this in every aspect of our lives, like I mentioned before, then we need to have the conversations. We need to expose the perversion. All right, guys, and as always, God bless.